This week we are covering audience analysis, which is chapter 6. And audience analysis is the most important thing. Your text mentions it not only in this chapter, but in chapters throughout the entire book. And being audience centered means that from brainstorming your topics until the end of the speech, that entire time, you have your audience in mind. I want to tell you about a story. I have a friend, his name is Jordan Wilson, and he was a brand new Toastmaster a couple years ago. Jordan told his club president, I want to enter the international speech contest. With a lot of planning, Jordan barely qualified to enter as a contestant as an international speech contest because there's a minimum of speeches that a Toastmaster has to give in order to qualify as a contestant. Well, Jordan won first place at the area level where he was competing against members of 5 different clubs. And about 1 week before he went on to the next level, which was the division level, I received a phone call from Jordan's club president, and he said, Brenda, I am worried about Jordan speaking at division. I saw 2 people he's competing against, and they are amazing. So we get to the division contest, and there's 2 people that he's competing against that are just amazing. And I'm just going to talk about one. He was dressed so sharp in this blue suit, and he was just dressed to the nines. And he was not only was he a very seasoned Toastmaster who had been speaking for years, but he was also a personal speech coach, a full-time professional speaker, and he had even written a public speaking book that was on the back table of that room. So this was a person very advanced, and he got hired often to speak at Fortune 500 companies. So I could see why the president was really concerned about Jordan not even having a chance. Well, when he went to speak, his speech was about being bullied and becoming your own hero. At one point, this guy rips off his suit coat and his dress shirt, and he actually had a Superman costume and a cape underneath. The audience was mesmerized and inspired. That's when I looked around and thought to myself, holy macaroni, does Jordan even have a chance? Well, Jordan won first place that day. Do you want to take a guess why? I'll tell you, Jordan's speech was titled The Life Edition Game of Jenga. And it was all about how much he loved his grandmother and how she raised him, how much she taught him, and how much she meant to him. His grandmother had died, and he felt like his life fell apart, but it was because the values and wisdom that she had instilled in him that gave him the courage to rebuild his life, a metaphor with the Jenga blocks, and helped him to continue and thrive. So just think for a few moments if you can figure out why maybe Jordan won over such an amazing professional speaker. I'll tell you, I've never had anybody guess when I tell this story. Well, 90% of the audience were grandparents. And 90% of the judges judging that speech contest were grandparents. Audience analysis is the most important thing. I hope that you get a chance to thoroughly read this chapter and watch the other videos and go over through any content, because this is really a valuable section. And again, audience analysis is the most important thing.